Happy New Year, everybody. Decided I would try my hand at narration again. I feel very strange talking to my computer while I watch the junk that's happened to me during the week. But at the same time, it's hard to also find music and sound effects and every other thing. So, we started off this week noting that the gas price was $1.86. And tonight when I drove by the same gas station, it was down to $1.82. So, it's kind of nice that the price is dropping. But let's get on with it, and we'll take a look at the morons that I ran into this week. A lot of people running stop signs seems to be the common thing that I find the most of. If you guys decide that this therapy of mine isn't worth watching, especially the stop sign runners, because it always happens, leave me a comment. I have no problem cutting back on what I put up here and, keep it to the major incidents. I guess it's a matter of opinion as to what is a major incident. I got a squirrel running for its life across the screen here. I did slow down for him. I'm not quite as cruel and heartless as some people might make me out to be sometimes. I find that this corner here a lot of times, because it's a downhill tight right-hand turn, people just drive right through it. It's almost an inconvenience to stop. But this Jeep that was following me this night, he ran 3 different places. Try to speed up the video when I can to kind of keep continuity but not make you have to sit there and watch him drive. I subscribe to a lot of motorcycle vloggers on YouTube, and it amazes me how popular they are when really all they're doing is riding around and talking to themselves or the perceived audience while they're riding. I could probably do that while I'm driving, but to me that'd be a little distracting, almost like talking on the phone too much when you're driving. And I complain about a lot of people talking on the phone while they're driving, so I don't tend to talk to myself or to my camera while I'm driving. I like to listen to talk radio, sports radio, and a lot of music. But so that's why I decided to try and do the narration this way, rather than really point out everything that I'm seeing on the screen as you're watching, but more kind of talk to you. I hope that your holiday season was a good one. This guy stopped at a light because the bulb was out on the post. And that 2016 brings you much joy and happiness. Myself, I'm looking forward to seeing what this year holds. A lot of things in my professional life outside of these videos that are going on this year, already happening this year. We got the paper boy stopped along the side of the road. You can see his arm fly out the window to deliver a paper as I'm driving by. I thought I was going to get a free one. If I had rolled the window down, it might have gone right into my car. But they're sitting there with no hazard lights or nothing, just stopped on the side of the road. Always got to be ready, because you never know what they're going to do. But, yeah, who knows what this year's going to hold. I have high hopes, and, just see what happens. But I'm looking forward to motorcycle season. I'm already getting the itch to ride again. It's been pretty cold. I'm not going to complain that there's not too much snow here yet, compared to last year in New England when we got bombarded. But I anticipate catching a lot of interesting stuff on the cameras once the snow really does come down, because if you've driven around here, or even if you live here, people freak out when you tell them that snow is coming. And if you say the word nor'easter, forget it. Don't even bother going to the store, because you're not going to get in there comfortably to shop and do what you want to do. I avoid stores completely when that word is uttered on the news. Personally, I grew up in upstate New York, way upstate, where lake effect snow is common. In fact, last weekend my parents got 2 feet of snow 3 days in a row. Last year they had a stretch where they got 5 feet of snow 3 days in a row. So, comparatively speaking, the snow that we get, even in a bad snowstorm in New England and Massachusetts particularly, is nothing compared to what I grew up driving in, so I don't tend to complain too much about it until I get out on the road with everybody else. really wish my cameras could show you just how close people are when they do run out in front of me. There's a couple instances in this compilation where cars had pulled out in front of me, and you watch it back on the video, it doesn't look like they're really that far away, but when you're driving, they are a lot closer. A lot of the dash cams that are out there, they have a 120 degree lens on them to allow the camera to capture a lot of stuff from the outside, from the left and the right. But what that does to the center, it kind of makes it appear more distant. The camera that I use on my helmet and in the rear window during the winter is notorious for that. And my plan is to get a new camera this summer that will, one, give me a better high definition picture, and two, make it a little more realistic to the eye when you're watching it back. Like I said, I subscribe to a lot of motorcycle vloggers on YouTube, and so I know what kind of equipment they're using. For me, it's just not in the budget right now, and I'm going to have to save up to buy it. So I think the kit that I was looking at was $350. Well, being married with kids doesn't quite fall into the budget sometimes. The cameras that I have right now, the forward-facing one in my car in particular, was only $49. And as you can see, the picture quality, even in the dark, is quite nice. But that helmet camera, I had high hopes for, and it really didn't live up to the expectations that the manufacturer set from their website. I looked at clips on the website, and they look much better than what I'm getting, and I'm running at the best frame rate for the 720p that I can. So it's most likely comes down to the vibration when it's on the side of my helmet, but nonetheless, my plan is to get a better camera for my helmet and then use that camera to face out the rear like I do in the car. I'm going to mount it on the bike facing backwards, so should get some interesting footage from that in the summer. Couple punks smoking dope in the car. You can see there's green arrows on the lane that we're in that we're trying to go to the right, but they stopped for it. So, that combined with the smell that I was picking up really told me everything I needed to know about them. I backed way off because I never know what's going to happen when you get behind one of these nuts smoking marijuana. Fortunately, they had turned off before I got anywhere near my home. But I almost want to keep the police on speed dial half the time when I'm driving. If you think back in the summer when that car passed me on the double solid line when I was riding the motorcycle, I turned them in, and when the plates were run, they'd come back as not found. So probably illegal. Excuse me. I've seen that person twice since that incident. And once was at a gas station, and I didn't have the local police station's number on my phone, and I didn't want to call 911 because it wasn't really an emergency, so I let her go. But I am going to get that number, and hopefully I'll see them at the gas station again sometime and get somebody over to run those plates. It's not that I'm trying to be vengeful, but the chief of police did ask me to stay on top of it if I could, so I am. But, if nothing comes of it and I don't have to testify or whatever for the stupidity, I don't know what the statute of limitations is for an incident on the road like that. I still have the video footage, so if they need it. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I got a dry throat just from talking this short amount of time. Alright, so I paused my recording and took a little break to rest my throat. Hopefully I'll survive the rest of the video. So that's my plan as far as the cameras go, and this person that, I don't know. Why would you run illegal plates? I just don't understand it. I mean, is it a money thing? Illegal immigration? I have no idea. I've heard so many horror stories from this area as far as people getting into car accidents with uninsured drivers. I can only imagine that it has to to do with something along the lines of they don't want to pay for registration or insurance, and that's how they're getting out of it. They got a pair of plates off a car at a junkyard or something. But that Nissan was pretty new. It was in good shape. It's not like they're hurting for cash, I'm guessing. Yeah, let's this guy here pull out into the middle of the lane. They were gonna go. They thought better of it at the last second, and I was quite surprised that they actually did stop. But I'll give them a little golf clap and applause for that. But it was an interesting week as far as being out on the roads. Everybody's coming back from being away on vacation. I myself was off all last week, so you didn't see too much in the way of video from me. I had the camera in the window on my my other vehicle when I was out and about. But there's more cars on the road now, and it just gives me more opportunity for some dumb stuff to happen. I've been lucky that I haven't been in any real close scrapes or accidents, although we have seen some close calls on the motorcycle a couple times. I was in a motorcycle accident back in 2012, and boy do I wish I had a camera on my helmet that day. Wasn't hurt too badly. The bike was a little bit damaged, but a little old lady decided she didn't want to wait in the line of cars anymore and just pulled out to cut across the parking lot. But to do that, she had to drive up the opposite side of the road, and yours truly was coming the other way, and I ended up on the hood of her car. And the best part of that story I always tell people is she got out of the car and started screaming at me like I did something wrong. And having a helmet camera that day would have really been helpful. Fortunately, there were eyewitnesses. She changed her story a couple of times with the police when they showed up, and her family showed up, and after they checked on her, they came to check on me, and the first thing out of their mouth was, what did she do this time? So she had insurance, fortunately, and that paid for the whole front end of my bike. So I had that replaced, new forks, and some other cosmetic damage that was done. But that was an interesting day. Not something I really want or plan to go through again. So it's a matter of keeping your head on a swivel and being vigilant. I don't know how many of you out there that are watching ride motorcycles, but leave me a comment if you do and give me some of your stories. This was an interesting morning, and it, 3 people crossing the yellow line within a half a mile of each other was just almost too much. I mean, when I saw this guy crossing the line right here and he was looking out the other side of the car, I just got on the horn. And the poor crossing guard, she turns around so quick, she's looking all around to try and find out what's happening. Too funny. But I just love looking at this. You see the blue sky, for January. It can't beat it. My son, on the other hand, is complaining that there's no snow to play in, but one day he'll understand if he ever gets behind the wheel of a car and has to drive in that stuff. But we'll get out there and build the snowman like he wants to eventually. I didn't hear too many complaints when he got to ride his brand new bicycle on Christmas morning, so how often do we get to do that? How often do I get to take the motorcycle out on Christmas morning? I've been riding for 11 years. That's the first time I've ever ridden the bike on Christmas Day. Got the jogger stopped. Now he crosses the street, so the guy in front of me, he just says, "Oh, okay, I stopped here. I stopped for the jogger. I'm just going to go." Knucklehead. Then we get up here to the next stop sign, and I catch up to him. He stopped, but look how far over the line he stopped. And he wasn't going to stop if those cars weren't coming. Here's another one of the cars that ran out in front of me. This happened tonight. I am recording this on Friday evening. So he runs out in front of me. When he pulls out, he goes right over the yellow line. Thankfully, there was no other cars coming. But what kills me the most is half the time when these people pull out in front of me like that, they're not going down the road. They're getting out so they can make another turn. So this guy, a quarter of the mile up the road, he starts slowing down and then he signals to turn. Boy, that just irritates me. I blasted my horn at him and he blew his horn back at me, like, "Oh, what did I do?" And I see the bus making a really wide turn here, and I look, and this guy's parked in the crosswalk at the stoplight. I mean, if he had gotten hit by the bus, it probably would have been his fault. Pretty sure the insurance or the accident report would show that. But nonetheless, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Leave me some comments. Let me know, is this too much with the stop signs? Do you want to see just the major incidents? I got no problem cutting that stuff up for you. But I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks again. I appreciate you watching. Take care.